Today, we're going to be talking about all the cool characters of Arcane, not just what they do in the series, but where they go in the League of Legends games that follows them. But the reason we're doing this is that we here at Cartoon Universe are proud to announce that we will be doing a live stream Q&A here on the channel with some of the cast of Arcane. The live stream interview will be on January 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on the channel. We'll put a link in the description down below that will convert that time to whatever time zone you live in, so you'll know when to watch. But if you can't make it, don't worry. The live stream will stay up here on the channel to watch afterwards. Joining us on the live stream will include the voices of JB Blanc, who plays Vander, Jason Spisak, who is the voice of Silco, Tox Ologundoye as Mel, and Mick Wingert as Heimerdinger. And of course, anyone who has seen our previous live streams knows that you never know what other guests might get announced along the way, or who might just show up on the day of. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. For this event, we'll be asking all sorts of questions, including those submitted by you. So be sure to ask any questions that you have in a comment down below, and we'll do our best to include them. The voice actors will also be signing autographed prints all weekend long that you can purchase. I'm personally going to be getting a signed art print from JB Blanc as the voice of Vander, as he was my absolute favorite. I'll also include a link in the pinned comment down below where you can purchase your own print as well. And now, let's dive into it. Arcane, of course, focuses primarily on the sisters Vi and Powder, two sisters who lost their parents to a devastating war as young children. The first arc of the series focuses primarily on the two struggling to steal from the rich of Piltover to give back to the people in the Undercity of Zaun. Powder is known among her friends as being a bit of a klutz, and despite Vi's best efforts to help her and get her up to fighting strength, she manages to ruin things even when Vi tries to get her to stay home and out of the line of fire. People who played League of Legends know that Vi is an enforcer in the game, something a bit of a shock to people who only watch the show, as the enforcers are essentially antagonists from Vi's point of view, being a sort of police force for the privileged Piltover citizens who only end up hurting the people in Zaun. Powder, on the other hand, goes on to become a villain known as Jinx in the games, and a large part of the series of Arcane is watching her relationship with her sister fall apart after Jinx accidentally gets all of her friends killed in episode 3, prompting Vi to push her away and for Powder to get taken in by Silco, who would help mold her into the insane villain Jinx. Her new name, of course, being a play on the fact that she ended up jinxing the rescue mission that got all of her friends killed. As a prequel, a lot of the characters such as Vi and Jinx are of course safe from dying in the series as they exist in the world of the League of Legends games that will eventually follow. So the show introduced a lot of other cast members who could potentially be killed off before the series end. This of course included the friends and family of Vi and Powder, who were all really fun and well-developed personalities, and even deep characters despite their small role in the bigger story. After the death of their parents, for instance, Vi and Powder are taken in by Vander, who was later revealed to be somewhat responsible for those deaths. Vander had led a rebellion against the people of Piltover in an attempt to force change and give the people of Zaun a better life, but the battle that came with it just led to Piltover's enforcers killing many of the people of Zaun, leaving kids like Vi and Powder orphaned. Even further back than that, he was apparently working alongside Silco for a while, but their differences in goals and motives seemed to ultimately have them turn away from each other, with Vander trying to drown Silco in the poisoned waters, leaving Silco to have this freaky appearance we know in the series. Vander was also something of a father figure to two of Vi and Powder's friends, Milo and Klagar, who really helped fill out Vi's ragtag group of misfits with personalities that really resonated with me, even when Milo, for instance, was being a little bit of a jerk when it came to how Powder was always slowing them down. In his defense, she would ultimately end up being responsible for his, Klagar's, and Vander's death, so he wasn't entirely wrong, I suppose, even if his treatment of her may be part of why Powder felt the need to prove herself in a way that got them killed. I was most disappointed to see these three characters die, as they were a lot of fun for different reasons, and I would have loved to have seen them be explored more, even if they were ultimately never meant to be more than potential deaths to push everyone else's plots forward. Arcane of course doesn't focus solely on Vi and Powder, however, and while they are the most prominent focus from Zaun, in Piltover we have Jace and Victor, two bros who are totally straight and stop asking. Jace and Victor both exist in the League of Legends games, however Victor in particular is extremely different here, being seen as only a suit of mechanical armor in the games. In this prequel series, he is first introduced as a sickly human, and through his experiments and deteriorating health, he would go on to get some mechanical enhancements, and in future seasons is expected to continue to augment himself mechanically until he eventually has virtually no human parts left and resembles the version of him that we see in the games. Victor, of course, is working with Jace on their magic-ish, scientific products to try and revolutionize the world, something that is forbidden until they manage to use some other cool magic science to impress a few board members of Piltover into letting them continue their crazy shenanigans. The two most prominent on this board are Heimerdinger and Mel. Heimerdinger is a not-so-human, wise figure who is much older than everyone else, and warns of how this sort of magic science has been used for the wrong reasons in the past, and fears it happening again. Mel, on the other hand, represents a more new age approach to running Piltover and ends up working to get Heimerdinger removed from the board so that she and the others can approve Jace and Victor's ongoing experiments. Jace ends up developing something of a relationship with Mel, but by the season's finale, her fate, as well as the rest of the board, are left in question, as Jinx ends up giving into her darkness and launching this crazy bullet bill at them. Jace is in the room, and of course his character is in the League of Legends game, so we know he won't be dying. So while some of the board members will likely die, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them survive, particularly Mel, leaving no one but her to really run Piltover and to keep enabling Jace's experiments. Connecting these two stories is the character Caitlyn, an enforcer who takes an interest in Vi and ends up helping her with her attempts to use her, as well as developing something of a romantic relationship with her as well. Caitlyn seems like the obvious catalyst for Vi's eventual change into an enforcer in the games, and I imagine we will be seeing her continue to bridge the gaps between these two plots in these two towns as the conflict between them deepens, and people on both sides realize just how complicated the situation really is. One character I felt we didn't get to see a lot of in Arcane was Ekko, and while that didn't seem too surprising at first, I later learned that he is also a League of Legends character, so with what little we did see of him here in Season 1, I imagine they are just setting him up for a bigger role in Season 2 as they continue to bridge the gap between Arcane and League of Legends. In the show, he is shown to be an assistant involved with a pawn shop operation that Vi and others use for a variety of reasons, including getting information they need on what to raid up in Piltover. In the games, he is a genius inventor and even has invented technology that allows him to manipulate time, exploring multiple outcomes and finding a way to get to the one that is best for him and his friends and the ongoing conflicts that they find themselves in. These are all the prominent characters in Arcane I wanted to talk about this week, but we'll be getting to know some of them better as we interview the voice actors on January 29th. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it when we do talk to them. And make sure you leave any questions you might have for the cast down below. Please do not ask for spoilers from the show or questions about the story and plot, but rather ask them about their experiences and their opinions. See you guys next time!